Hello and welcome to another episode of If You Can Dream It, the podcast series where we not only talk about the latest theme park news, rides, and attractions, but we also create them. My name is Joe and I'll be your host throughout this podcast experience. And boy, did I miss saying that. It's been a while since we last released an episode, and that is entirely my fault. Life just kind of got in the way, and I haven't been able to sit down and record one of these for you guys, so my apologies. I'm also going to say that this is another test episode. Yeah, you would think that by the time, between then and now, I would have figured out how I want this podcast to run. I haven't. Maybe I just like being in that test and adjust phase for If You Can Dream It. Okay, so I don't have any guests with me tonight, but I do have a couple of news stories I do want to talk about. So let's jump into some general track talk, shall we? Starting off, not at Disney or at Universal this time, we're actually making our way over to Germany because Europa Park announced something that is very peculiar. Now, how many of you would say that you're a patron of the fine arts? When I say the name Andrew Lloyd Webber, what is the first thing that comes to mind? It's probably Phantom of the Opera, right? And if it wasn't, I just want to say hello, fellow theater kids. But yes, Phantom of the Opera is probably the first thing that everyone thinks when they think about Andrew Lloyd Webber, as it is basically his best known work. Here's my next question for you. When I say Phantom of the Opera, does your mind automatically go to being a roller coaster? Yeah, mine doesn't either. But for the folks over at Europa Park, it certainly does, as they announced that a brand new VR roller coaster themed around Andrew Lloyd Webber's mega hit musical, The Phantom of the Opera, will be coming to the park this upcoming spring. Now, I've seen Phantom about 5 or 6 times now. It's up there. And that is a very slow show. So I have absolutely no clue how they're going to translate that into a roller coaster. Off the top of my head, I can say there's really only 3 or 4 main action heavy set pieces. And those would being the iconic chandelier falling, the graveyard duel in Act 2 between Neural and Phantom. And then you have Phantom kidnapping Christine, and then the pursuit of Phantom towards the end of the show. So I have no clue how they're going to actually exactly translate that into a roller coaster. I'm interested to see it. You've piqued my interest, Europa Park. So if you're planning to visit Europa Park anytime between the springtime and in the future, and you happen to ride Phantom of the Opera VR, let me know in the comments down below, because I'm interested to see how exactly that feels and what exactly they do with that. Now with that out of the way, we're going to jump back over to the US for our next news story, and that's going to be Epic Universe. So if you're not familiar with what Epic Universe is, it is Universal's new theme park that they're building here in Orlando. It's actually the first major theme park that's been built in Orlando in the last 20 years. So that is fantastic. That is awesome. So it's been in the works for a while, and they basically announced it towards the end of January and early February this year, basically revealing all the worlds that we can explore once Epic Universe opens up in 2025. And those worlds are Celestial Park, Dark Universe, Super Nintendo World, The Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, and How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. Now, with that initial reveal video, they did also go into detail showing us what we can expect once we step foot inside of Celestial Park. Now, Celestial Park will be the hub area for Epic Universe, so somewhat similar to how Main Street USA is that hub area for the Disney parks. Celestial Park will have shops, restaurants, some nighttime activation stuff, but it'll also feature 2 distinct rides, those being Constellation Carousel as well as Starfall Racers. Now, Constellation Carousel will be the tamer of the 2. It will be a 2-tier carousel system where guests will board on top of constellations and whirl and twirl around the Milky Way, whereas Starfall Racers will be a dual launch, dual racing coaster, similar in vein to what Dueling Dragons was over at Islands of Adventure before it changed over to Dragon Challenge, and then was replaced by Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. So I'm excited for both of those, but more in particularly, I'm excited for Starfall Racers because at night there is no exterior lighting for that track. All the lighting actually comes from the ride vehicles itself, so once you're looking up and Starfall Racers is actually going at night, it looks like comets are shooting across the sky, and that is awesome. All right, so the reason why I'm talking about Epic Universe, because even though that was all revealed a while back ago, the reason why I'm talking about it now is because they came out recently and revealed exactly what we're going to see once we step into How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk for the first time. Isle of Berk will feature 5 distinct attractions. The first attraction that you'll see will be Hiccup's Wing Glider. And this will be a family launch coaster that takes you all around the Isles of Berk. It looks super fun, so I can't wait to experience that. The next attraction we have is Dragon Racers Rally, which is an elevated spinner ride. You're in control with how mild or wild your experience is, so you can either spin a lot or not spin at all. I'm excited for that one. I'm just saying, know your limit, friends, because that one can give you motion sickness. Nothing will ruin your day more than someone getting sick on something like that and you being down below it. Sorry for that image and everything. Okay, going into the next attraction, getting away from that, we have Fire Drill, which will be a competitive boat ride where you are competing against the opposite side of your boat, trying to put out fires. Because with dragons and wood, fires are pretty common, and you will get wet on this one. Pack some extra socks. Jumping over to our next kind of attraction is Viking Training Camp. This will be a kids' playground area, kind of similar in vein to what Camp Jurassic is over at Islands of Adventure. And the last attraction that you will find at Epic Universe's Isle of Berk will be the Untamable Dragon. Guys, I am so excited that we are finally getting the show. So this is Universal's kind of Broadway-esque style show that originally made its debut over at Universal Studios Japan, and now it's finally making its North American debut here at Epic Universe. If you're watching the video version of this podcast, you're currently seeing it now. If not, from our audio listeners, I will put a link in the podcast notes. But everything about this production is just gorgeous. The character design, the puppetry, the scenic design, projections, the singing, all of it is just gorgeous. I am so happy that I can finally experience this live. We are not done with Epic Universe, as Universal still has 2 more land reveals to do. Technically, it's 3. However, we already know what we're going to get with Super Nintendo World, but Universal has still yet to reveal anything about Dark Universe, as well as the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. So look forward to those going down the road as we approach the opening of Epic in 2025. All right, switching from Universal and heading over to Disney. We do have a couple of news stories there. First one being Disney is bringing a drone show to Disney Springs. So they announced last week, and I happened to be down there when they announced it, that they are bringing a drone show to that Disney Springs shopping area called Dreams That Soar. Dreams That Soar will play nightly at Disney Springs starting on May 24th and will go all the way till September 2nd. So you'll see drones making shapes up into the sky set to music and then movie quotes. I'm assuming we're going to see Up in there. We'll probably see, I want there to be a Wall-E scene in there because that'd be gorgeous, seeing like a flying Eve or a flying Wall-E just of drones just like going across the sky. That'd be beautiful. If they want to bring 90s stuff into it, because the 90s are hot now, you have Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, Tailspin, you name it. You also have the Rescuers Down Under, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers. All those had flying machines in there, because right now I'm kind of blanking on other flying Disney properties that they could focus on for that show. I know there's a lot. I'm just blanking on them right now. So if you do have other suggestions for maybe other shows they might cover in that Dreams That Soar show at Disney Springs, put down in the comments. All right. And finally, our last news story is that we have a couple of new updates for Tiana's Bayou adventure. Now, Disney has been steadily releasing teases of what we can expect to see from Tiana's Bayou adventure. Disney revealed several animatronics from characters from the original films, so we have multiple versions of Tiana. We've had multiple versions of Louis. We've seen Mama Odie, Charlotte LaBouffe, Prince Ralphie, who is Prince Naveen's kid brother, who will be prominent throughout the ride. We've also seen Eudora, which is Tiana's mom as well. We haven't seen a Prince Naveen animatronic yet, but I'm pretty sure we will be getting one on the ride at some point. And joining the original characters from the film, Disney has already announced 12 additional characters that we will meet as we travel down the bayou. We have Byhalia the Beaver, Gritty the Rabbit, Bo the Opossum, Apollo the Raccoon, Rufus the Turtle, Timon the Otter, Octavia the Bobcat, Papa the Bobcat, Claude, Bernadette, and Sebastian the Louisiana Black Bears, and Fina the Gray Fox. And I'm pretty sure Disney will announce a couple more critters as we inch closer and closer to Tiana's opening. It is worth noting that recently Imagineers have been seen ride testing recently at Magic Kingdom. Like, there's a bunch of videos on TikTok and Twitter showcasing the Imagineers going down that 50-foot drop, and they have been actually actively riding the attraction, just testing it on a daily basis, including putting sandbag dummies and water dummies on the back of the log flumes as well. So we are getting closer and closer to that opening date for Tiana's and potentially for previews as well. And with that, we are going to be ending our general track talk. Now we head over to one of my absolute favorite segments to do, which will be our Blue Sky pitches. Hello and welcome to Blue Sky Pitches. Now, if you're not familiar with Blue Sky Pitches, the way this works for us is that we are given a prompt and then we have to create a ride or an attraction surrounding said prompt. So the rumors of Dinoland going away has been kind of recirculated as Disney has filed a recent permit for temporary structures behind Dinoland USA, which also goes in tandem with the rumors that Dinoland will be getting a theme change from Dinoland USA to South America. The prompt for this week is, if Dinoland were to go through with that re-theme to South America, what attraction would I build there? For my Blue Sky pitch, I would like to see a Casita Dark ride. More or less, this would use the exact same ride system and ride layout as Mystic Manor over at Hong Kong Disneyland. So the story for that would be Mirabelle would invite us to do an open house tour of Casita. Guests would hop into ride vehicles that Casita would magically create for us. We'd start off in Antonio's room. Now, Antonio's room is that very large room that has a tree in the very center and is filled full of animals. Something spooks the animals and they all escape. And then Antonio tasks us with basically retrieving his animals and making sure they're safe and bring them back to his room. We'll take a tour throughout the house and see rooms that were both seen in the film and rooms that weren't seen in the film. And this all culminates until we get to Bruno's room. The ride vehicles are encircling a Bruno animatronic, and Bruno is basically giving us a premonition of if we succeed or not in returning Antonio's animals to him. That culminates into a very quick blackout, and once the lights come back on, Bruno is standing back at the center of the room, but now with a green translucent tablet, which is our prophecy, and that's when the ride photo is taken. We escort all the animals now over to Antonio's room, and then we say goodbye to the wonderful Madrigals, and we exit the Casita. And that is my Blue Sky pitch for an Encanto-based attraction inside of Animal Kingdom. And with that, this takes us to the end of this episode of If You Can Dream It. Guys, I want to thank you again for listening and or watching this. It really means a lot to me. If you guys want to see changes to the show, or if you like things or you don't like things, including myself, let me know in the comments down below. I look at all those comments and take all those comments to heart as I try to make this podcast as best as it possibly can be.
Ladies and gentlemen,
so until the next time, we'll see you in the queue.
Clear of the doors.